Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WDW Opinion Live. Thank you so very much for being here with me. My name is Conor Brown, and I am a lifelong Disney fan who's been going to the parks for the last 20 years. And I'm also a former Disney cast member, so I know what it takes to make the magic. My passion is simple. It's to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Disney vacation. I do that by sharing my expertise on my blog, podcast, these live streams, and so much more. Head over to WDWOpinion.com so you can check out all of the latest content we got going on. All right, guys, listen, we have a couple new things that are going on right now. Typically, it's only the Facebook live stream that I got going, but if you see me glancing over here, that's because I also have Instagram live going this week. We're going to see how that goes. There's plenty of opinioneers out there in the world. Some of you prefer Facebook, some of you prefer Instagram. I'm going to bring you both wherever you are so that we can come together each and every Tuesday night and share our passion of Disney. A little flustered this week as well because right before I went on live, Facebook decided to change everything, at least with their mobile platform. I read that in a couple articles today. If you do open the app on your mobile device, it's going to look a lot different if you have automatic downloads or automatic updates installed, a lot more white, a lot more kind of interesting aspects there, but just another curveball Facebook likes to throw into everything. They do that all the time. Let's see here, over on the Instagram side, it looks like we have Austin Lee joining us. Joseph Molsky, how you doing, Joe? Looks like we have Lex Cheney 999, a whole bunch of others, and over here on Facebook, Jessica is coming to us all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. Happy to be happy to have you, Jessica. Jessica, are you a Boston sports fan like I am? I'm a diehard Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, and Red Sox fan. Hopefully you are too. You're always welcome in the WDW Opinion community. And Austin, are you dual threading us tonight? Are you on Instagram and on Facebook right now? That's pretty awesome, my man. Come to us from Orlando. Always good to see you there. And Joseph Molsky is all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. Molsky, that's a familiar name to the Opinioneers community from what I've been led to believe. All right, guys, I love coming together each Tuesday night to share some Disney news stories. And I'm also going to, while we're going to do that this week, I also have a new thing I want to try out just for this one episode, but we'll get to that later. You might catch it if you were paying attention to the name of this post on Facebook. All right, guys, but let's get into the news stories of the week. Jessica, go Bruins. Let's go. Let's get a win tonight against the Blue Jackets. I want the Boston sweep. All right, the first news story this week is there's a new restaurant coming to Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios. This is very, very cool, and this article is coming right from the Disney Parks blog. This was just announced today. There's a brand new table service restaurant coming to Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Upon entering Andy's backyard, guests are magically transformed to the size of a toy, surrounded by toys and play sets scattered throughout the area. And soon, guests will discover that a new play area has been set up, and this time, it's a rodeo. Oh, very interesting. But of course, being Andy, it certainly isn't your usual rodeo. Using 3 cardboard boxes and taped together, Andy has created a new rodeo arena with some of his favorite toys, games, and play sets. And while some pieces are definitely Western themed, what makes this rodeo special is the broad assortment of toys that have been brought together for this fun experience. So once inside, you'll be surrounded by all the rodeo festivities in action, as well as Western Town and train station play sets. They're really getting us the details right up front, which is very cool. And you just might spot some of your favorite Disney Pixar characters throughout the restaurant in the form of toys and games placed, including a toy version of Jessie riding on the back of Trixie, and the unique toy versions of Bo Peep and her sheep, all who will appear to be performing in the rodeo together. That is very interesting. The immersive restaurant will surround guests with a kaleidoscope of toys, games, and play sets, providing yet another unique, fun, family-friendly dining experience that could only be had in Toy Story Land. So be sure to stay tuned for more details on this in the months and maybe even year to come. But for now, if you are looking for interesting and tasty eats in Toy Story Land, you can go over to Woody's Lunchbox for some sandwiches, lunchbox tarts, and more. Guys, this is awesome. This is very, very cool, because when Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios was originally announced, this was actually going to be part of the land when it opened. But for budget cuts, of course, I would say anytime a land at that grand scale is announced, once you see those artist renderings, think about maybe even losing a third of it. We kind of saw that even with Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge originally was announced to be having 3 attractions. Well, when it's opening, in the next coming months, it's only going to have 2. Of course, there is also potential for more to come, but as of right now, there's only going to be 2 in Galaxy's Edge. Toy Story Land was kind of the same way as well. We were always going to have this kind of sort of, not a restaurant necessarily, but almost like a live stage show, something like that. Jessica Maloney is saying, so exciting. That sounds amazing. Love those hidden characters. Very true, Jessica. That's going to be very cool. Knowing that this is finally coming to fruition in Toy Story Land, which, yes, is an awesome, really cool area, but I still felt that when it did open, it needed one extra element. 2 very cool rides. Slinky Dog, I think, is a home run, but it needed one extra element. That restaurant originally was left on the chopping block because of those budget cuts, like I said, but we got this announcement that it is coming indeed. No word yet on, when it's going to open, or even, the majority of what the restaurant is going to be like, but those kind of subtle nods that we're getting, it's going to be immersive. It's going to have a lot of characters. We do know it's going to be like a barbecue rodeo, so that's very cool. Also interesting because there's a Woody's Rodeo barbecue campfire or something going on at the Contemporary Resort in the coming months, but I don't think those two are connected at all. All I know is this is going to be a welcome addition, not just to Toy Story Land, but to Hollywood Studios as a whole. Even with all the new things coming to that park, it still needs more good, solid dining options. It needs more interesting dining options, and it needs more family-friendly dining options. This looks to be hitting all 3 of those categories. It's going to be family-friendly with all those interactive elements. It's going to be a sit-down restaurant, which is always welcome in Hollywood Studios. That's really the main, when it comes to sit-down restaurant, sit-down dining, of all of the, I think maybe next to Animal Kingdom, those 2 are the ones that really need more sit-down dining enhancements. But even quick service at Hollywood Studios, I feel, is few and far between, at least good quick service places. Austin Lee says, Slinky Dog Dash is awesome. Hope to make it out to the Hollywood Studios sometime soon. Joshua is saying, couldn't get a fast pass for Slinky, but it looked fun. It is a ton of fun, Joshua. You got to get there super early. I think that's the best way to really ride that ride at rope drop with a minimum wait. Plus, you'll be able to, save up your other fast passes for other attractions around. What's going to happen when Galaxy's Edge opens? I think those fast pass tiers are going to kind of be in flux. It might be easier to get a Slinky Dog Dash fast pass, but for now, I would say go at rope drop. That's the best way to get there. There's got to be another attraction, even Lisa is saying, in Toy Story Land. So Lisa, that's interesting you bring this up, because this is going to be an expansion pad, right? If you walk through that area right now, there's no real place to put that restaurant. So where are they going to put it? What we're hearing is, as you go in, you notice right before you get to the Woody welcoming you to Toy Story Land, there's a lot of greenery there. Supposedly there are two buildings, backstage buildings over there that people really aren't using, or they're being used by cast members. But Disney could easily wipe that area out, add in some, other buildings, whatever they need to, in order to put that restaurant in there. What we're also hearing, Lisa, though, is that while that's one expansion pad to put this restaurant in, there's another expansion pad that can accommodate this area, maybe closer towards the back. Who knows, that might get used up for Galaxy's Edge. But I do agree with you, there's got to be one extra element. Yes, we have Toy Story Mania, which is a third attraction. It's been there for 10 years, though, so we just kind of got a re-theme of the queue area. There's got to be one extra element, and I think, Lisa, maybe this is going to do that. Yes, it's a restaurant, but it's going to be, take away from the hustle and bustle. Another experience to go in, and it's definitely going to be experiential dining. I'm very excited for this. For so many different reasons. I love Toy Story. It was my first ever movie I saw in the movie theaters. I grew up with it. I can't wait for Toy Story 4. I love those characters dearly, and I think each, attraction, each area, each land that they bring into the parks featuring the characters of Toy Story, it hasn't really gone wrong yet, knock on wood. Hopefully this restaurant lives up to that expectation as well. And of course, more dining options in Hollywood Studios, always welcome as well. Mr. Andrews, how are you doing today? Would love to come to Toy Story something. So I would have to say, when this restaurant opens, I can't say that it's going to be completely feel like its own land, like a full land, but it's going to be a nice added addition. They're saying it's going to be very immersive. Who knows if that means there's going to be animatronics in there. That will be very cool, a very cool dining experience. This is all we know for now, but I feel like in the coming months, we're definitely going to start to get more and more info on that. Today, it was also announced that in addition to this exciting announcement, it was also revealed that Walt Disney World will take part in celebrating Toy Story 4 with the premiere of a new pop-up shop to also be featured in the land. According to Vice President of Hollywood Studios, Phil Holmes, the pop-up shop will celebrate not only Toy Story 4, but everything Toy Story. Holmes did not reveal the type of merchandise to be featured within the shop. However, he did mention that will feature some great things coming out of the movie. So this new pop-up shop will be located just outside of Toy Story Mania, located right in the center of the toy-themed town. Like Lisa was saying, she felt it needed one extra attraction, this land. I always thought it needed its own dedicated shopping area as well. This is just going to be a pop-up shop, but maybe when that restaurant opens, it's also going to bring with it its own dedicated store for merchandise. It's interesting because it seems like all the Toy Story merchandise is scattered all throughout Hollywood Studios. It kind of needs one centralized hub. But there you go, a new restaurant, Woody's. I can't even remember the full name of it, but it is coming to Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, barbecue themed. Very cool. We're gonna, as we hear more about that, as the details are confirmed, we're definitely gonna be sure to share it with you. If you are just joining us, thank you so very much for being here. If you kind of see me glancing one way or another, I got Instagram over here, I got Facebook right here. But no matter where you're listening, where you're watching, you're all part of the Opinioneers community. So thank you for being here, however you're tuning in. Let's move on to our second news story of the week, and it's a quick one, but a cool one. New food is coming to the Magic Kingdom. So a whole new lineup of delicious looking sweets is coming to Magic Kingdom. This is from WDWinfo.com. The limited time offerings will be available beginning in May, going through June of 2019. So if any of them are calling your name, you're going to want to get to the parks ASAP in order to indulge in these. The first is the Mickey Celebration Donut, which is not pictured over there, not pictured in this graphic, but it's going to be available on May 9th. It's a yeast donut with your choice of strawberry, vanilla, or chocolate frosting topped with sprinkles. You're going to hear Mickey Celebration a lot, Mickey Milestones, stuff like that, because they're still celebrating Mickey's 90th birthday. You can get that at the lunching pad over in Tomorrowland. The Mickey Milkshake, which you see that red thing up in the top corner. The Mickey Milkshake, available May 1st through June 30th, is a strawberry milkshake topped with yellow cotton candy and a Mickey marshmallow straw. There's a Minnie's cookie dough sundae. There's a Tangled eclair themed to the film Tangled, featuring Rapunzel. Very cool right there. And then we also have a Sunshine Tree Terrace. You can find the Wish Granted donut. You can see that in the far top corner up there. So basically, as you can tell, the puff, it's kind of like Genie. It looks like a lamp. It's a normal donut. It has a little chocolate emblem that looks like a lamp, like Genie is coming out of it. A glazed donut coated in gold sugar and topped with chocolate lamp piece and blue cotton candy. Very cool. That's over in Adventureland, kind of where Aladdin meets in the bazaar area there. Sunshine Tree Terrace is, of course, where you can get those citrus swirls and things like that. Casey's Corner will have a celebration brownie, and a Mickey Push Pop will be available May 1st through June 30th. Birthday cake layered with confetti, sprinkles, and buttercream, and that can be found at Cosmic Ray's Golden Oak Outpost, Columbia Harbor House, and Friar's Nook. That one looks very cool. And then if you see in the foreground, kind of those little waffle cone things, it's like a waffle piece that they're going to print Disney characters on. You can get those in ice cream throughout Magic Kingdom as well. Listen, we've seen this for a few years now. If Disney knows how to do one thing well, it's creating Instagrammable worthy food items. Now, I'm not saying that they're the most tasty food items out there. They might not be the most delicious, but they certainly are Instagram worthy. You can tell by all of these, they're definitely Instagram worthy. Do it for the gram. And it's kind of that reasoning why Disney is doing it for a limited time. You're always going to get your Mickey pretzel. You're always going to get your churro. You're always going to get your Dole Whip in Magic Kingdom. But these ones are unique because Disney's trying to push people into the parks for that limited time so that they can snap a picture of that, post it to social media, post it to Facebook, post it to Instagram, wherever, so that they can, chalk up those likes so people were, fear of missing out. That's pretty much all that life is these days, isn't it? Fear of missing out. I know when I start to see these photos on there, it makes me want to go back, want to get whatever items it is. I'm sure none of them are going to be outrageously good. If they are, Disney will keep them around. Disney will offer it in some other way. But for now, I would say that Push Pop is going to be my leader in the clubhouse. And of course, because they're offering it at 4 or 5 different places, Disney is definitely saying this is the best. That Push Pop, again, is the birthday cake layered with confetti, sprinkles, and buttercream. That sounds really cool, kind of like an ice cream Push Pop, but cake. Jessica is saying, makes me want a Mickey-shaped something. Jessica, let me know if you agree with this. Food is always taste better if it's in the form of a Mickey Mouse, right? Has to be. It has to be. Whether it's the pretzel, the waffle, premium ice cream bar, sandwich, whatever it is, if it's in the shape of Mickey Mouse, it tastes that much better. You know what really offers those? If you are at Tokyo Disney, I hear that they take it to a whole nother level when it comes to offering Mickey in a food-shaped varietals. Jessica says, always tastes better as well. Sarah_917 over on Instagram, she says, I love your podcast. Thank you so very much, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the podcast as well. It means the world to me that you enjoy it. As long as you guys keep listening, myself and my co-host Hank will keep doing it. We'll keep doing these live streams as well. Zoe over on Instagram is also saying true that when it comes to food shaped in Mickey Mouse form. We also saw Sue Brown tuning in from Maryland. Always good to see you. That is my mommy, of course. Hope you are doing well. Alrighty. So typically, this point in the show, what I do is I transition from Disney news stories of the week over to WDW Opinion content of the week. We're going to do that a little bit later on, but what I wanted to do in this episode of the live stream is actually something special, and it has to do with what's going on tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is a very special day in Disney World's history. In fact, it is the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. Back on May 1st, 1989, Hollywood Studios opened its doors for the first time. It was a totally different theme park for Disney and uncharted territories for them. Some other theme parks, maybe down the street, if you catch my drift, had dabbled in this before, and we're opening up another location in Orlando, Reed Universal. Disney beat them to the punch. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother episode. But for the last 30 years, we've been able to dive into the movies with Hollywood Studios in Florida. And I wanted to take a minute to think, why do we love Hollywood Studios? What are the top things we love about the studios? It's had an interesting 30 years, I will give it that. And for whatever reason, I truly, truly, truly love this place. I think it might be my favorite park. I know I always say I think. It's just hard for me to give a definitive answer. But every time I go into this place, I hate when I leave it. And it's a different feeling than when I leave Hollywood, and then when I leave Magic Kingdom, or when I leave Epcot, or when I leave Animal Kingdom. There's something that just compels me to this place, and I don't know what it is. I think I love the theming. I love that Art Deco kind of vibe, that, golden age of Hollywood idea. I love the Tower of Terror. It's one of my absolute favorite attractions. I think we had Lisa saying that as well. Tower of Terror is the best ride on Disney property. If it isn't the best, it's right up there with all of the good ones, all of the classics. I can't agree with you more, Lisa. But when it comes to Hollywood Studios, what do you think your favorite part about it is? Is it a certain attraction? Is it a certain show? Is it a certain story you share? Or is it just the overall atmosphere? Let us know what you think. Share what you think in the comments. I'm going to start picking some of these out and reading them out loud. Jessica is saying it's classic. Interactions on the streets bring you back in time. Jessica, I think that is so perfect, because that's what a good Disney park does, right? It transforms, or it transplants you. It takes you to a period, to a location, to a country that you're not currently in, and it brings you into that, and it immerses you into that area. When Hollywood Studios first opened, what was it trying to do? It was trying to immerse you in the movie making business. You were going to become part of the movies. It was a live action working studio. There was an animation department there when it first opened. But when it comes to what it is now, it's very much living the movies, right? They've shifted away from creating the movies to living your movie experience. Over on Instagram, we have Zoe saying she loves everything about it. Hey, I can't fault you there. That's awesome. The Lucky Minute is saying the street performers. The Lucky Minute on Instagram. I can't agree with that more as well. There's something to be said about the streetmosphere characters at Hollywood Studios. We're starting to see less and less of them, which is a real shame, because I think they're incredibly talented individuals. We see them at Magic Kingdom on Main Street USA, and we do see them still on Hollywood Boulevard, on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood Studios, but they're hilarious. I think it's just added to that ambiance, added to that, stepping back in time. You really feel like there's that big Hollywood director, there's that police chief from Hollywood. They're really in that moment, they're really living in that era, and it just adds to that place. Joseph Andrews, Mr. Andrews is saying, I agree with you, Hollywood Studios has a great look, it just feels different. It's his favorite as well. You hit the nail on the head. It's some sort of feel, it's some sort of, you can't touch it, it's not tangible, it's just a feeling, an atmosphere that you're really there in the golden age of Hollywood. Then hopefully, in the coming months, you're really gonna feel like you're in the world of Star Wars on Galaxy's Edge. You're really in the world of the Tower of Terror, of the Twilight Zone, when you're all the way down on Sunset as well. That's what this place is all about. Sue Brown is saying, love the citizens of Hollywood. Also love the Tune-In Lounge. The Tune-In Lounge. What is there not to love about this place? This is the bar, kind of where you wait in the lobby for 50s Primetime Cafe. This is a great bar. It's a no-frills bar, but again, Sue, don't you think it goes back to that atmosphere, that theming? You really feel like you're in the living room in the 50s of an American household, even though there's a bar there. The grub there is very, 50s, 60s-esque. It just fits into that vibe so very well. And that's another reason why Hollywood Studios is great. As a family, that's right, we would always end our troops with Hollywood. Maybe that's why I love it so much, because our trips, when we were going as a family, growing up, it was always my last interaction with Disney World. Maybe that's what it was. I had this emotional connection to it that I can't explain, because it was just the last place that I visited. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I can't tell you why it's so great or why I have this appeal to it when I don't have this appeal to Epcot. Of course I love Epcot. Of course I love Animal Kingdom, but this place just appeals to me. It appeals to me. When it comes to its history, it has definitely had its ups and downs. What started as a real-life Hollywood movie making studio, has since transformed into something else. It's really lost its identity in that regard, but it still has great attractions. It's still a good time. For the last decade or so, it's been in, changing times. Things have been taken away. Whole sections have been lost. Iconic attractions like the Backlot Tour are no longer there. And it's making way for things like Toy Story, like Galaxy's Edge. Even though it's delayed by 6 months, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is taking over the great movie ride that was a quintessential attraction in Hollywood Studios. So this place is definitely in an identity change. It's changed its name even from MGM Studios to Hollywood Studios. We think another name change is going to come as well. For all of life's, things that it's thrown at it, things that it's thrown at Hollywood Studios, how it's changed so much, it's still standing, and it's just going to get better and better and better. I love this place for so many reasons. It's the details, it's the atmosphere, it's the attractions, those street characters as well. But for whatever reason it is, I am happy to call it my favorite park. There, I said it, finally. And I'm so happy that it's 30 years strong, even though it was, it's had its ups and downs. I think it's got a bright 30 years into the future, with many, many new things to come. So tomorrow when you wake up, think about Hollywood Studios. They're going to have a celebration, a little, surprise in the morning. But just remember, what your trips would be like if Hollywood Studios wasn't there, because for the last 30 years, we have had the great opportunity to visit it, and I'm excited for what the future holds for it. But just remember it tomorrow. when you wake up. Give it a little shout out, if you will. All right, now let's move on to some WDW opinion content, shall we? On this week's podcast, we had a great conversation on the top tech tips and must-haves for your Disney trip. So myself and my co-host Hank and I, we were talking about what do we want to say about, what are the tech tips? What are the things you need? And what we really had a great discussion around was the fact that Disney has made using technology in the parks, especially in Disney World, very user-friendly. Yes, the My Disney Experience app has its qualms, is difficult to use at times, crashes a lot, sure. But what Disney has given us is a tool that enhances our vacation, but doesn't deter from it. So it's easy to go in the parks and say, hey, I'm just gonna, sit in line on Facebook all day long, right? I'm just going to sit on this bench. I'm going to constantly check Twitter, constantly check Instagram, constantly check my emails. What Hank and I realized is what you need to use technology for is not to take you out of your vacation, but to enhance your time there. How do you do that? It's not about posting to Instagram while you're in the parks. Save that for when you're back at the hotel room. It's not about tweeting or checking up on the latest news. Save that for when you leave. It's about using the tools in front of you, to which technology gives you, to enhance your experience. When it comes to the My Disney Experience app, you're looking for extra fast passes. You're looking for dining reservations. You're mobile ordering. Maybe you're seeing how far it's going to be to get from this attraction to the next attraction. That's how you use technology in the parks. Another great example is wearable technology. If you have an Apple Watch, if you have a Samsung Watch, whatever it is, you use those things to see how far did I walk. Oh, I have something coming up. Great, I don't need to pull out my phone. I can easily use this as a tool to get me where I need to go without having to deprive me of that valuable vacation time. You use technology to capture your memories so that you can live vicariously through yourself almost when you go back home. That's why using it as a camera is a great idea, but posting content in the parks might not be the best thing to do because you are using that time in the parks elsewhere. Other examples, when it comes to weather apps, there's a lot of rain in Florida in the summer. Breaking news, of course. If you have a good weather app, you can really narrow down to the minute when that storm is going to come so that you can plan your day accordingly. I think that's very important. Another tool we use is Touring Plans Lines app. So in the My Disney Experience app, yes, you can check lines, you can check attraction wait times, but with the Lines app from Touring Plans, a third-party provider, they actually are a team of statisticians over there, and they give you more accurate times, or at least we found them to be more accurate. Disney is inclined to list the highest wait time possible so that when you get in line, if it's less than that, you don't get angry. So a 45-minute wait time might not necessarily be 45 minutes. Touring Plans has years and years and years and years and years of data to basically say, hey, this is how long it's actually going to be. And they also have a huge community and fan base who, when they're in lines, are posting, no, I actually just waited in Dinosaur. It was only a 15-minute wait. You can see that. That's really, really cool to see, user-generated experience. I think it's more nicer to know just being able to see, hey, that guy just rode and he only waited 15 minutes. I'm going to believe that guy, even though the sign says 35 minutes. That's a good tool to use. So those are very, very minimal tools. And Hank, my co-host, has really taken a less is more approach. He's really just pulling out his phone to get a new fast pass, to take a picture, and then that's it. Save that battery life for the trip back home, for the hotel room, whatever it is. And I've taken that approach as well. Listen, when you're in the parks, you want to be fully immersed in it. You want to explore that atmosphere that you love in Hollywood Studios for sure. So using technology to enhance the vacation, not deter you from it, that's what we've come to know and love, and that's what we share in this week's podcast episode. You can check it out by searching for WDW Opinion wherever you get podcasts, or you can go over to wdwopinion.com/episode 40. We also talked about some tools you might want to bring. A battery pack is always nice, a rechargeable battery pack. That can help very much so in the long run. Not really a whole lot of other technology you can use, but that's something I think goes a long way, especially when you are pulling it out. Even if you're just taking photos and stuff, My Disney Experience app can eat up a lot of battery space, so you might want to keep that in mind as well. I think that's a great way, kind of just to go into your theme park adventures with that mentality. You don't have to leave the phone at home. You can bring it with you. Just don't try to put your head in it around the clock. The Play Disney Parks app is another cool way where Disney is using technology to enhance your experience in the parks. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in Galaxy's Edge as well. But again, use it wisely, use it wittingly, and I think you're going to have a great time. Disney is really catering to people who like technology. Disney is a technology company, so keep that in mind. Also, on this week's episode, we talked about some other news things. Big thing we spent the whole middle segment on is there's a ton of vacation packages that were just announced. Vacation packages actually for all of summer. Free dining packages. We're talking pass holder discounts on rooms, and you're getting some crazy deals. If you're a pass holder and you want to go in the summer months, you're getting, saving, 20-25%, hundreds of dollars a night I've seen on rooms across the board. So you definitely want to listen into that episode. We also heard some vacation package options for Disney Vacation or Disney Visa card holders. That's something new. And we also heard for the first time a vacation package that Disney gives you a gift card for each night of your stay. That's something new. What does this all mean? It just means Disney is trying to put heads in beds before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens. I keep saying this, guys, I think it's really important. If you do want to go during the summer, or you can only go during the summer, this summer is going to be the best summer to go to Walt Disney World, no doubt about it. Disney is saying, we don't have enough people in our rooms. We're trying to bring them in. We're trying to bring them in with all these deals. So I think with all these deals, it's very, very enticing. It's going to be so hot down there, of course, and there's a lot of new stuff coming in the fall that you might, feel enticed to wait for. But if you can only go during the summer, I would highly suggest going this summer. Tune in the podcast, episode 40, that we'll break down all of the deals that might be available to you, because that's going to, help out in the long run from a cost-saving benefit as well. Let's check out some last minute notification. Austin saying, couldn't have said it better myself, Connor. Our favorite movies are coming to life. Can't wait for Galaxy's Edge. That's in reference to what Hollywood Studios is becoming, what Hollywood Studios is changing into. I think the future is bright for this place. And as long as movies keep getting made, and I don't think movies are going to go anywhere, Disney is creating more and more content. I think Hollywood Studios is going to be a great place for that. Sue is saying, it kind of drives me crazy when you're waiting in line and so many people have their nose in their phone. I will say my biggest pet peeve is when people are in line playing heads up. That Ellen DeGeneres game, just like this, I always want to call out and ruin the game, but I know that's not fun. But yes, it is annoying, especially when the line is moving, the line is clearly moving, and someone is looking down on their phone. There's a huge gap. It's like you're driving again, which you shouldn't be texting and driving. You shouldn't be on your cell phone and driving. But come on, pick up your head. Let's move, people, move. Mr. Andrews, Joe Andrews is saying, you give such great advice. Love the podcast and Tuesday live. Thanks for the app suggestions. Thank you so very much. Guys, if you actually don't know, I hope Mr. Andrews is comfortable with me saying this. Mr. Andrews was my 4th grade teacher. He was my favorite teacher back in the day by far. He really made learning fun. It was always a pleasure. It was really awesome to be in his class. I loved every second of it. I'm sure I was a handful in there, so I apologize for probably how I acted as a annoying 4th grader, but me, to see you here enjoying the podcast and the Tuesday live shows, how the tables have turned, if you will. But it's so cool to see you, Mr. Andrews, and I'm glad you're enjoying all of this content as well. And Beth is saying, I wish so many more people knew about WDW Opinion. I am loving the content. Beth, that means the world to us. And if I did just see him, and I think I did, yep, Hank was just thanking Mr. Andrews. He is here as well, my co-host. But Beth, thank you so very much for saying that. It means the world. Really, it does. Getting to see all these people over here on Instagram Live, over here on Facebook Live, seeing everyone who tunes in to the podcast each and every week. Beth, I wish more people knew about WDW Opinion as well, because we're all in this together, right? When it comes to content, the reason I create the content is because I wanted something when I was, growing up, when I was going to the parks. When I'm going to the parks now, I crave content when it comes to Disney. You can't really explain your Disney obsession. It just kind of happens, right? I think this is a community that I've always tried to facilitate as a place to help us, manage the time in between trips. I try to give as much as humanly possible because I know that that's what I was looking for when I was planning my trips before I worked there. I'm a former cast member, and I still look for that content all over the interwebs. But having this community of WDW Opinioneers, and that's what all of you fine, fantastic folks are for tuning in this week. You're an Opinioneer, whether you're over here on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever you are in the world. This Opinioneers community is awesome. And Beth, you are a valued member of it. But you know how we can get more people to know about WDW Opinion? Well, you got to share it with them, of course. So let them know. If you have a Disney fanatic, invite them over to the Opinioneers community. Give them the podcast. Invite them to the Tuesday live streams. Let them know that the Opinioneers community is live and well. And if you do want to help us grow this awesome community, you can also review our podcast over on iTunes. Stay tuned because I think I have a special announcement about that. Maybe a little contest that can help us get a little more reviews, but you'll probably have to tune in next week on the podcast for more information on that. So Beth, thank you very much again. And Mr. Andrews, thank you very much again for that awesome feedback. I love hearing it. Guys, as long as you keep tuning in, no matter what it is, as long as you keep listening to the podcast and to these live shows, I'm going to keep doing it. And I know on the podcast side, my co-host Hank, he's going to keep doing it with us as well. I love doing this every single week. Tuesday night is my favorite night of the week because I get to spend it with you, lovely people. If you have any questions about your upcoming Disney trip, or if you have any questions about Disney in general, I'd love to hear about them. Shoot them over to me, Conor, CONOR, at WDWopinion.com. I can't wait to hear from you guys. But go ahead over to the Opinioneers community right now after this show and let us know what your top tech tips are. I can't wait to hear what you might have in store for that. This has been a really fun live stream. I think a long live stream, as well as I get more comfortable with these. I think we can make them go longer and longer. But guys, remember tomorrow, 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. Think about it just for a little bit. Think about the fun you've had tomorrow in that awesome park. But until then, thank you so very much for tuning in. Have a great, fantastic week, and I'll see you real soon.